You've always tried to be the kind of man who shows up, not just in the big ways, the anniversaries, the gestures, but in the small, quiet moments too. You listen, you care, you know what it means to be present with a partner. And maybe for you, that means giving fully, even when it comes to intimacy, especially oral sex. Not because you have to, but because you want to. It's part of how you connect, how you show your love. But lately, something's been off. You finish, and instead of feeling close, you notice this dull soreness in your throat. Maybe a slight irritation in your mouth, a raw patch, or a weird aftertaste that doesn't go away. It's subtle at first, easy to ignore. You tell yourself it's allergies, or maybe you bit your cheek. You don't want to overthink it, but then it happens again. And now there's a hesitation, a second thought, something in the back of your mind whispering, is this normal? Still, you don't say anything, not to her, not to your friends, definitely not to your doctor, because honestly, what would you even say? And more than that, you're not sure you want to know. But here's the thing, you're not alone in this, not even close. Most men don't talk about it, but it's more common than you think. And what's going on in your body deserves a closer look. Here's something you probably haven't heard anyone say out loud. Your mouth isn't what it used to be. And no, this isn't about looks. It's not about aging in some vague, superficial way. I'm talking about real changes. Inside. The kind that affects how your body handles the things you've been doing for decades, including oral sex. See, as you get older, your immune system doesn't bounce back the way it used to. The soft tissues in your mouth, they get thinner, your gums pull back. Tiny cuts or abrasions, the kind you'd never even notice in your 20s, now take longer to heal. That alone wouldn't be a big deal, except for one thing. The mouth is one of the most bacteria-rich environments in the body, and when you're performing oral sex, especially with a partner who may have even a minor infection, you're exposing yourself to a direct stream of bacteria, viruses, even HPV strains, things that can pass silently without symptoms until they don't. Here's the catch. Most men don't connect the dots. You get a lingering sore throat, maybe a swollen gland, maybe it feels like allergies that won't quit. But what's really happening is your body's fighting harder to recover from something it used to shrug off. And no one told you this, right? No one pulled you aside and said, hey, by the way, your mouth's immune defenses start changing after 50. Might want to keep that in mind. But now you know, and that quiet vulnerability, it's real. It doesn't mean you stop being intimate. It means you start being informed, because the rules changed, and it's time someone told you. You probably thought it was just a sore throat, maybe some jaw tightness, nothing worth making a fuss over. You chalk it up to age, dry air, maybe snoring. But here's the thing, your body keeps the score, even if you're not keeping track. What seems like a minor irritation could actually be your immune system raising its hand, quietly trying to get your attention. A little inflammation here, a little swelling there, not enough to send you to the doctor, but just enough to wear you down, slowly. It's not just about your throat. This stuff has ripple effects. Chronic irritation in your mouth and throat doesn't stay put. It feeds into your whole system, drains your energy, disrupts your sleep, leaves you feeling off without knowing why. You ever wake up tired even after a full night's rest? Or feel run down for no clear reason? That low-grade inflammation, the kind your body picks up from repeated exposure to oral bacteria or hidden infections, it doesn't just stay in one place. It spreads. And your immune system, already working harder as you age, gets pulled in too many directions, fighting battles you didn't even know were happening. Over time, it chips away at your resilience. Less energy for workouts, less drive in the bedroom, less focus during the day, but none of it feels dramatic enough to sound the alarm. It's just this quiet, persistent drag, like trying to run with a weighted vest you can't take off. And unless you start connecting the dots between what happens during intimacy and what lingers after, you'll keep brushing it off. Meanwhile, your body's still dealing with the fallout. It's not about panic. It's about paying attention. Here's the thing most men don't realize, especially if you're in your 50s, 60s, or beyond. The rules have changed. What used to be low risk when you were younger might not be so harmless now, and not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your body just doesn't recover the way it used to. You might think, I'm in a monogamous relationship, I'm safe, or it's just oral, There's no real risk there. And look, that made sense at one point, but age shifts the equation. Your gums are thinner. Your immune defenses aren't what they were in your 20s. Tiny cuts or inflammation you don't even notice. They now open the door to infections that used to bounce right off you. And it's not just STIs, it's bacteria, viruses, even oral cancers that are linked to long-term exposure to certain strains of HPV. I know that's not what you signed up for. You were just trying to be generous, intimate, connected. But the myth that oral sex is risk-free leaves too many men blindsided when something goes wrong. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. You don't need to stop being intimate. You just need to stop assuming that what used to be safe still is. You've earned the right to know the truth and to protect yourself without shame. Narrator section. Look, you don't have to stop being intimate. No one's saying that. But the way you used to approach things in your 30s, that might not cut it anymore. Your body's different now. Not worse, just different. Your gums aren't as tough, your tissue heals slower, and if you pick up something, even something minor, it sticks around longer than it used to. That matters, especially with something as physically close as oral sex. So here's what actually works. Start with timing. Don't go straight from brushing your teeth into oral. Sounds harmless, right? But right after brushing, your gums are slightly irritated, even if you don't feel it. That creates tiny openings, and that's when bacteria or viruses can sneak in. Give it 30 minutes. Let your mouth settle. And no, mouthwash isn't just for fresh breath. A natural, alcohol-free rinse, something with xylitol or tea tree, can actually lower the microbial load in your mouth before and after intimacy. It's simple, quick, and makes a real difference. Now, this part isn't fun to say, but it matters. Know your partner's health status. If they've got cold sores or HPV or even gum disease, it can all be transmitted. Doesn't mean you need to panic. Just be aware. If something feels off after the fact, soreness that lingers, swollen glands, dry throat, don't ignore it. That's your body talking. The goal here isn't to kill the mood. It's to stop pretending you're invincible and start playing smart. You can still be passionate, giving, fully present, but now you're informed. And that confidence, it doesn't kill the mood, it deepens it. Narrator section. Let's be real. This stuff feels weird to talk about, especially at our age. You've been through enough to know what matters in life. You've handled real problems, provided, protected, stayed solid when it counted. So yeah, the idea of changing how you approach oral sex, it can feel ridiculous, even embarrassing. But let's not confuse awkward with unnecessary. Because the truth is, once you start paying attention to this, just a little, things shift. Quietly, but powerfully. You stop waking up with that raw, scratchy feeling in the back of your throat. You notice your breath feels fresher, your mouth feels cleaner, your immune system isn't fighting off some low-grade irritation every week. And the best part? You don't lose anything that matters. You're still present, still generous, still connected. Only now you're not moving blind, you're informed, you're choosing, and that changes everything. It might feel awkward the first time you rinse your mouth before or after, or take a moment to slow down and pay attention to how your body feels the next day. But awkward isn't dangerous. What's dangerous is ignoring the quiet signals your body's been trying to send you. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to justify it. Just start. Take care of the parts of you that always took care of others. You'll feel weird talking about it, sure, but better living it? Absolutely. You didn't stop being generous. That part of you, the part that wants to connect, to give, to show up fully in intimacy, it's still there. And it's strong. But now, something's different. You're not walking into these moments blind. You're not wondering if that soreness afterward is just normal. You're not silently second-guessing what's happening in your body. You've learned how to listen, not just to your partner, but to yourself. That quiet confidence, it changes everything. You carry yourself differently when you know what's going on inside. You're not reacting anymore. You're responding. You're making choices, not avoiding them. And that doesn't make you cautious. It makes you clear. This is what wisdom looks like in real life. Not some abstract, distant thing, but a man who still wants connection, who still gives pleasure, but who also protects his health like it matters. Because it does. You're not less of a man for adjusting how you show up. You're more of one. This version of you, grounded, informed, and still fully present, is someone to be proud of. And whether anyone else sees the change or not, you will. Every time you show up smarter and still fully yourself, you're not broken. You're not fragile. You're just at a different stage of the game now, and that changes how you move. This isn't about pulling back or giving up things that matter to you. It's about protecting what does matter: your health, your energy, your ability to stay connected without burning yourself out in silence. Most men never even get here. They ignore the signs, push through, joke it off, but you didn't. You paid attention. And that right there, that's ownership, not fear, not overthinking, just a man choosing to take care of what's his. You can still show up fully, as a partner, as a lover, as yourself. You just do it with your eyes open now. That's not a weakness. That's wisdom. And that quiet confidence, it doesn't just protect you, it deepens everything you touch. So stay in it. Stay steady. You've got this.